Why should I care if my fiancé was in an avalanche? I was climbing Mount with my fiancé when an avalanche hit, and I pushed him away. But when I woke up, I received the news that he was calling off the engagement and demanding the engagement gift back. Eleanor frowned at me. The doctor said you were in the snow for too long. You definitely won't be able to give me grandsons in the future. And you might even end up disabled, so I certainly can't let you be a burden to my son. I desperately wanted to find him, but all I received was his wedding invitation. In despair, I swallowed a bottle of sleeping pills. When I opened my eyes again, we were back on the day we went climbing Mount. This time, when the avalanche hit, I ran faster than anyone. After a long period of unconsciousness and intensive care, I finally woke up. But the doctor told me that because I had been in the snow for too long, it might affect my ability to have children in the future. Although my leg had undergone surgery, the leg nerves were damaged, which might impact my future mobility. The pale walls of the ward and the pungent smell of disinfectant irritated my brain. I found it hard to accept such terrible news, and instinctively looked towards Marcus, who was standing beside me. He, however, avoided my gaze. Eleanor merely paused for a moment before her sharp voice rang out, "What? Can't have children? Then what about my future grandsons? Marcus, my family can't accept a daughter-in-law like this." My heart instantly filled with injustice. I hoped he would refute Eleanor's words, but he remained silent. After speaking, Eleanor grabbed him, ready to leave. I finally couldn't hold back and spoke. "Marcus, you tell me, why was I buried under the snow?" He seemed to have anticipated my bringing this up, and his expression showed a hint of emotion. "Grace, I know you were trying to save me, but honestly, even if you hadn't rushed over, I would have been fine. Look at you. You acted impulsively without understanding the situation, and now you've ended up like this." My heart trembled violently. "Marcus, what are you saying?" He said impatiently, "All right, you look awful. Now that you're awake, just focus on recovering. I owe you one, all right? However, regarding the marriage, I'm listening to my mom. You know my father died young, and I'm the family's only son. If you can't have children, my family will have no male heirs to continue the family line." Eleanor, upon hearing this, immediately gained confidence. "You heard my son. It's not that we're heartless, it's just that my family can't accept a daughter-in-law who can't have children. Grace, Aunt knows you're a sensible girl, and you certainly wouldn't want to make Marcus's life difficult, right?" I knew that at this point, I should agree gracefully to preserve my last shred of dignity, but I couldn't just give in. It was I who, upon realizing the avalanche was coming, desperately pushed him away, giving him a chance to breathe and escape harm. Otherwise, he would be the one lying in this bed, and he would be the one who might be disabled. How dare he, after a dismissive "I owe you one," self-righteously say he wouldn't marry me? Had the man I loved all this time truly been such a heartless and cruel person? With tear-filled eyes, I stared at him and questioned, "Marcus, why are you doing this to me? We've been together for 5 years, and I ended up like this because I saved you. Do you even have a heart?" His brows furrowed tightly. "Grace, there's no point in saying that. I told you, I would have been fine even if you hadn't come over. Saving me was your unsolicited act, it wasn't necessary at all. Are you trying to emotional blackmail me now? What happened to you? I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I can't marry you in your current state. In a few days, we'll call off the engagement." He finished speaking, turned, and walked out. My heart ached so much I couldn't breathe. I reached out to grab his arm, but he flung my hand away in disgust. Losing my balance, I fell directly to the floor. He merely gave me a cold glance, then walked out without a moment's hesitation. A nurse gently helped me up, comforting me and urging me to try and move past it. But I had always been a proud person, with strong self-esteem. Now, with my body in this state, possibly confined to a wheelchair for the rest of my life, and my fiancé calling off the engagement with me, I truly couldn't accept it. I was an orphan, always alone. After I got together with Marcus, I made him my whole world, loving him more than myself. I cooked and cleaned for him, covering all his living expenses. Finally, in our 7th year together, he proposed to me. We had agreed to get married after climbing Mount, but now everything had come to nothing. The man I loved with my life, seeing that I was no longer useful, discarded me without hesitation. I felt like a complete joke. I swallowed the metallic taste of blood in my mouth and began rehabilitation. No matter how painful or exhausting, I didn't utter a sound. I wanted to stand up, to walk like a normal person, I wanted to humiliate him. But on the 3rd day of my rehabilitation, Eleanor came to the ward to call off the engagement. Grace, since you and my son have already called off the engagement, shouldn't the engagement gift money be returned? And the gold bracelet I bought for you earlier, that needs to come back too. I didn't waste words with her, I just returned everything. But she still wasn't satisfied, frowning at me and gloating triumphantly. Grace, you have no one to blame but yourself for how you are now. The doctor said you stayed in the snow for too long, which affected your fertility, so you definitely won't be able to give me grandsons in the future. And you might even end up disabled in the future. My son is so outstanding, I certainly can't let you be a burden to him. Oh, and by the way, this is my son's wedding invitation. If it's convenient for you, you can come. Aunt doesn't need your engagement gift back. She finished speaking and left. I looked at the invitation thrown on the bed, not moving for a long time. It was as if I only found my senses after a while, slowly opening it. After seeing the groom's name clearly, my eyes nearly burst from their sockets. I had only been injured for a month, and Marcus was already getting married? The bride was Tiffany? She was part of our climbing team. So, they were already having an affair back then. Tiffany came from money, she was a wealthy heiress. So didn't abandon me just because I was injured. He was inherently snobbish and drawn to wealth. How tragic that it took me reaching this point to finally see it clearly. I happened to have Tiffany's contact information. I wouldn't let that scumbag get away with this. After the call connected, I told her about my engagement to Marcus, but I didn't expect her to care at all. She even laughed mockingly. Grace, I can't believe you'd call me to talk about this. You really are a joke. To tell you the truth, I was the one who actively seduced Marcus. You know, he's good looking, and I, a young lady, simply adore handsome things. I even intentionally joined that climbing trip. You still don't know, do you? That night, Marcus claimed he wasn't feeling well and wanted to sleep in a tent by himself. He sent you away, but it was actually to wait for me. That was our first time, you know. You should have just died in that avalanche. Living like this, disabled, is just suffering. What's the point? She hung up the phone, but her mocking laughter echoed like an evil spell, and I couldn't shake it off. Life truly had become utterly meaningless. In my utter despair, that night I swallowed the entire bottle of sleeping pills and quietly closed my eyes. I thought I would die, but to my surprise, when I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day we were climbing Mount. The moment I opened my eyes, I saw Marcus standing before me. Instantly, all the despair flooded my heart. I clenched my fists tightly, telling myself to stay calm. This wasn't the City General Hospital, it was the foot of the mountain before the avalanche. Since heaven took pity on me and gave me another chance, I had to truly love myself, avoid the avalanche, and never repeat my past mistakes. I couldn't help but step back. The agony of being buried under the snow all night was still vivid in my memory, and I never wanted to experience it again. I shook off his hand and refused. I'm not climbing Mount. You go ahead and climb it yourself. I'm going home now. As I was about to turn around, 3 girls got out of a car. One of them sneered at me contemptuously. You're scared before we even started climbing? So useless. Marcus, how could you find such a worthless girlfriend? The other 2 girls beside her immediately chimed in. Exactly, Marcus, what's the point of someone so timid and fearful? You should find a girlfriend who is brave and genuine, like Tiffany. Grace's looks and family background are inferior to Tiffany's, so what are you hesitating for? Hurry up and dump her, and get together with Tiffany. Tiffany. In my previous life, her friends had said similar things, but I hadn't paid any attention. Marcus had always been popular with girls. He always reassured me not to get upset over other people's jokes. I never imagined that it wasn't a joke at all, but a premeditated plan. Marcus didn't care that my expression darkened. He angrily followed up. Grace, you heard them. You're so timid and fearful that you don't deserve to be my girlfriend. I'm warning you, take back what you just said, or I'll have to reconsider our engagement. He knew how to manipulate me, knowing that my greatest wish had always been to marry him and have a home of my own. But now, hearing him say it again, I just felt disgusted. Since they wouldn't let me leave, I would expose their disgusting deeds to the pub. Lick. As for the avalanche, I would run away ahead of time. For now, I'll collect some interest. I let out a cold laugh, then slapped Marcus hard across the face, cursing at him. Marcus, you're my fiancé, and now, just because of a few words from others, you want to call off the engagement with me? What are you really thinking? Or have you long wanted to hook up with Tiffany, and you're saying this now just to dump me? His intentions exposed, he was enraged with embarrassment. Grace, are you crazy? How dare you lay a hand on me? Tiffany and I are just friends. My patience is limited, so stop this drama, or we're really over. Waiting for me to back down, Marcus's expression darkened further as I remained cold-faced and silent. Seeing this, Tiffany secretly delighted, then deliberately began to instigate. Oh, Marcus, are you alright? Your face is all red from the slap. Grace hit you too hard. She's your fiancé, but you shouldn't even treat a stranger like that. Just then, Tiffany suddenly moved closer, pretended to slip, and grabbed onto him. Marcus, I accidentally slipped, and my ankle doesn't feel right. Could you take a look and put some ointment on it for me? The people from the club were already watching the drama unfold, and seeing her act like this, their interest grew even stronger. Marcus glanced at me. Seeing my indifference, he had no qualms. He crouched down and gently said, I'll take care of it for you. Be careful later, mount gets harder to climb the higher you go. Tiffany, feeling she had won, was in high spirits and gave me a smug glance. Okay, I'll listen to Marcus. I'm not like some people, who are petty, mean-spirited, and just plain annoying. From then on, as if to deliberately make me suffer, Marcus repeatedly behaved intimately with Tiffany right in front of me. I kept a cold expression, pretending not to see, but secretly took many photos as evidence for calling off the engagement later, since an avalanche was destined to happen. And Marcus would likely end up like he did in my previous life. Calling off the engagement might leave me vulnerable to manipulation. But if he had cheated on me, everything would be entirely different. In my previous life, they had already been involved. Now that Marcus and I were at odds, it conveniently gave them a blatant opportunity. Soon, evening arrived, the night Marcus and Tiffany slept together. In my previous life, Marcus had used the excuse of feeling unwell and wanting a good night's sleep to send me off to share a room with other team members. This time, I wouldn't need to. I looked up and, sure enough, Tiffany had an expression of eager anticipation. Tonight was going to be interesting. Sure enough, in the middle of the night, I feigned fear and asked a female team member to accompany me to relieve myself. I deliberately walked past Marcus's tent and heard disgusting sounds coming from inside. The female team member was about to scream. I quickly covered her mouth, pulled her a little further away, and let tears stream down my face. Hannah, you saw it too. I'm not being unreasonable, Marcus really cheated on me. You're the best, please, I beg you, help me. People always tend to sympathize more with the weaker party. Hannah was a team member I had specifically chosen, as she was overflowing with a sense of justice. Besides, although Tiffany was rich and powerful, this climbing team was recruited online. Afterwards, everyone would go their separate ways, and no one would be able to find anyone else. Sure enough, Hannah only hesitated for a moment before patting her chest reassuringly and declaring, Grace, don't cry. I'll help you. Soon, I had Hannah help me call everyone out of their tents on the pretext of there being a snake. I specifically instructed her to keep her voice down, and only then did we arrive at Marcus's tent. The sounds from inside were jarring in the dark. Everyone exchanged glances, already sensing something was wrong, especially Tiffany's two cohorts, who immediately tried to tip them off as soon as they realized. But how could I give them a chance? I immediately yanked open the tent. A mass of pale flesh instantly met our eyes, and screams erupted one after another. It was also their fault for being so engrossed and insistent on playing around. It was clearly cold, yet they didn't even use a blanket, leaving nothing to the imagination. I unceremoniously took out my phone and snapped pictures of their vulnerable state, then cried out, Marcus, Tiffany, you're sleeping together here. You're absolutely shameless and despicable. Marcus hastily pulled on his clothes, wanting to deny it but finding himself speechless. The two cohorts rushed to help Tiffany get dressed, not forgetting to complain, Tiffany, it was that bitch who tricked everyone into thinking there was a snake. That's why everyone came over, she did this on purpose. Hearing that I had caused her to be exposed, Tiffany was enraged with embarrassment. Grace, you bitch, how dare you set me up? You just wait, I won't let you get away with this. I've never seen anyone so self-righteous as the other woman. She was caught in the act, yet she still dared to threaten me. I scoffed, stepped forward, grabbed her hair, and slapped her several times. Her two cohorts immediately tried to pull me away and attack me, but a few slaps and kicks from me quickly subdued them. What a joke! They thought Marcus didn't dare to hit me back because he was good-tempered? No, it was because he simply couldn't. My dad was always afraid I'd be bullied, so he had me learn Sonda from a young age. I was stronger than most people, Marcus couldn't fight me at all. Marcus panicked and yelled at me, Grace, stop it. You, get out of here right now. My gaze sharply turned to him. I'd almost forgotten about that scumbag. He cheated on me and still dared to yell at me? He had some nerve. I walked over and gave him a piece of my mind. You have the nerve to speak, yo. You cheating scumbag. We're over, you don't need to tell me that. You and Tiffany slept together and were playing around so shamelessly. It's utterly disgusting. I'm telling you clearly right now, we are done. The 100,000 engagement gift you gave me has been in my account. I'm transferring it to you now. We're even, and from now on, we have nothing to do with each other. I took out my phone, and soon after, he received a notification of the 100,000 payment received. From this moment on, I had completely cut ties with Marcus. I was actually looking forward to the upcoming avalanche. I wondered if Tiffany would save him tomorrow morning. The next day, as Marcus was still flaunting his affection with Tiffany, the natural disaster of the avalanche struck. As soon as I sensed something was wrong, I immediately dodged away and ran down the mountain, with everyone else scattering to escape. The area right next to Marcus was where the avalanche was most severe. This time, it was Tiffany who was by his side. She wouldn't be as foolish as I was in my previous life, sacrificing herself to save him. The moment she saw the avalanche, she screamed and fled. Marcus was utterly desperate, and he actually thought of me, shouting at me, "Grace, don't run. Come and save me." That he thought of me in his moment of peril made me sick. I didn't stop running, turning back only to watch the avalanche, like a monstrous wave, sweep over him. In my previous life, I was only concerned with saving him, completely disregarding how terrifying the avalanche truly was. It was a pity that my desperate sacrifice only moved myself in the end. In just a few moments, Marcus was swallowed by the snow. Once safe, we immediately called 911 for rescue. Just like in my previous life, those lightly buried were rescued that same day. But it was almost dark, and Marcus still hadn't been found. I knew he must have been carried to another spot by the avalanche, just like I was back then, waiting in despair and helplessness for rescue. It wasn't until early morning that the rescue team found him, half his body buried in the snow, unable to move, and long since unconscious. At the City General Hospital, when Tiffany learned that he might never walk again because he had been buried in the snow for too long, she left without hesitation. Her heartlessness, to me, was just karma for a heartless and cruel scumbag like Marcus. I just didn't expect that as soon as he woke up, he kept clamoring to see me. I didn't want to bother, but I was afraid he might remember things from my previous life and start babbling nonsense, so I went. The moment I entered, Eleanor attacked me. "Grace, why didn't you save Marcus and just ran away yourself? No matter what, you two were engaged. Doing something like that is utterly heartless." I looked at Marcus. His eyes darted away, he didn't seem to remember anything from my previous life. I felt relieved, knowing he hadn't revealed that he had cheated on me, so I said directly, "Marcus cheated on me, so he and I had already broken up before the avalanche. I also returned your family's engagement gift money to him in front of everyone. We have no relationship whatsoever anymore." I finished speaking and was about to leave, but Marcus spoke up. "Grace, I don't want to break up. I made a mistake this time and I know I wronged you. But I clearly called out for your help. How could you just stand by and let me suffer? Now the doctor says that because I was buried in the snow for too long, my legs are ruined, and it's almost impossible for me to stand again. My virility has also been affected. If you didn't save me, then you must marry me as compensation." His audacity was truly astounding. I was shocked by his shamelessness. I turned and said coldly, "You and Tiffany slept together in a tent, and you still have the nerve to ask me to marry you? And you keep saying I didn't save you. I want to ask, how exactly was I supposed to save you? Was I supposed to stand in front of you, let you run away, and get buried myself? Marcus, stop dreaming. I already called off this engagement in front of everyone. We have nothing to do with each other anymore." Seeing my resolute demeanor, Marcus's sorrowful expression twisted into one of venomous malice. "Grace, I know I made mistakes, but I didn't blame you for abandoning me and running away. Why are you still unwilling to marry me? You clearly despise me and are just making excuses. If you dare not marry me, I don't know what I might do." I looked up at him, completely unafraid. I'd already died once in my previous life, so what did another death matter? But that rotten individual Marcus, I would never spare him another glance. "Marcus, it's laughable that you still think everything is my fault. Do you think I don't know that Tiffany doesn't want you anymore, which is why you're crawling back to me? You just want to use me to prove you're not a cripple. It's a shame, but I refuse to be a pawn, and from now on, you are a cripple." I thought that would be the end of it, but to my surprise, to force me to marry him, Marcus actually went online and publicly spread rumors that I had called off the engagement and abandoned him because of his severe injuries. Eleanor, for her part, maliciously slandered me with tears in her eyes. I really didn't expect Grace to be so heartless. My son was so good to her. When the avalanche came, he only got injured trying to save her. But after she was safe, she found out my son's legs were ruined and immediately called off the engagement. She's such an ungrateful woman. Marcus, pale-faced and appearing to have lost all will to live, leaned against the hospital bed, looking pathetic. Seeing the camera, he furrowed his brow slightly and said with a frail, sickly appearance, "My legs are ruined now, so I understand why she left me. I just wish she could come to the City General Hospital to see me. I truly love her." The internet spreads news fastest, and in just a few days, I was reviled across the entire internet. Grace is truly vile. No one should have saved someone like her. She should have been crushed to death by the avalanche. I've seen bad, but never this cruel. Her boyfriend's legs were ruined saving her, and she immediately called off the engagement, not even visiting the City General Hospital. This kind of woman doesn't deserve to live. I want to see what kind of despicable woman she is in real life. I'm going to find her. I'll help search too. This kind of despicable woman should be exposed and put on display for everyone to see what sort of person she is. Soon, busybodies doxed my home address and waited for me at the entrance of the riverbend. After I got the news, I stopped leaving the house. I remembered that when we went climbing Mount, we had a group chat, and everyone knew that he and I had broken up before the avalanche. Marcus was such a fool to spread such absurd lies. I was eager to see how he would handle himself when the truth was exposed. After I entered the group, I found that I had been removed, but the group itself hadn't been disbanded. I called David, but he wasn't willing to say much, only warning me, "Grace, you know very well whose toes you've stepped on in this matter. Just accept your fate." I had a feeling, so I dialed Hannah's WhatsApp call. "What exactly happened in the group? Is it related to Tiffany?" She paused, then said somewhat nervously, "Grace, since you've already guessed, you should know we can't help you. Tiffany has given orders for all of us to keep quiet. If asked, we're either to corroborate Marcus's story or say we don't know. If anyone dares to speak up for you, we'd be ruined." I sighed. Just as I thought. But I couldn't understand why Tiffany would still help Marcus, especially after she had already left him. She paused again, then said, "Grace, you're a good person. Marcus doesn't deserve you. Even strangers we met by chance could see that Marcus was a scumbag. Since was helping Marcus conspire against me, I wouldn't be a pushover and let myself be manipulated." The next day, I went directly to confront Tiffany. Seeing me fully prepared, she laughed unpleasantly. "Grace, you're probably having a hard time these days, aren't you? It's been 3 days. You'd better hurry to the City General Hospital and make up with Marcus. Otherwise, your parents' lives won't be easy either." I truly didn't understand. Why are you helping Marcus to harm me like this? You even told the people in the climbing group not to tell the truth. Tiffany, what exactly do you want? She scoffed, saying disdainfully, "Grace, you embarrassed me back then, and that's not over yet. Since is so insistent on ruining you, and no longer bothering me, I'm happy to see it happen, and get my revenge on you at the same time. The people in that group are all selfish, timid cowards. I just threatened them a few times, and they got scared, not daring to reveal that Marcus and I were together. You, go tie yourself to that cripple Marcus, and stop bothering me." Is that so? I don't think so at all. I mercilessly exposed her dark side. "You're doing this simply because you have a twisted mind and can't stand to see others do well. If and I got together, I'd also be a cripple. You must think it's great to be able to control my life, right? Too bad, I won't let you have your way. To tell you the truth, I recorded a video of you and Marcus sleeping together that day. If you dare to come after me again, I'll post it online to prove my innocence." Her expression instantly panicked. "Grace, you wouldn't dare." Seeing that my expression remained unmoved, she continued, "If you dare to post it online, I'll make you wish you were dead. Give it to me now." She reached out to snatch my phone, but I held on to it tightly, refusing to let go. "I can give you the video, but you must go online yourself to clarify the matter and clear my name. Otherwise, it will be mutual destruction for us." She realized I was serious. She didn't resist for more than a few seconds before surrendering. "Okay, I'll do as you say, Grace. Put the phone down first, don't press send, and I'll clarify it online." After that, she opened her phone and started recording an audio apology to me, also assuring me, "Grace, don't worry. Once I post the audio online, the other team members will also post theirs. Then, with the power of public opinion, no one will doubt you anymore. I relaxed, focusing on her recording. Suddenly, several people burst into the private, snatched my phone, and pinned me down. At that moment, Marcus also emerged from inside, sitting in a wheelchair. He looked at me, his eyes filled with venomous malice. "Grace, I gave you a chance, but you still dared to threaten Tiffany. You deserve to die. Today, I'm deleting everything on your phone. Let's see what you'll threaten us with then." Pinned down and unable to move, I screamed, "Marcus, give me back my phone right now. If you let me go, I won't post the video." Marcus silently finished deleting, then tossed the phone back to me, lowering his head to grab my chin and curse, "Grace, you're a bitch. When the avalanche came, you abandoned me and fled. Now that I'm like this, how dare you leave me? You ruined my chances with Tiffany, so you'll have to atone for it." Tiffany smiled faintly, seeing me threatened by Marcus. "Grace, this is what you get for crossing me. You look down on Marcus, but I'll make sure you two are bound together. Tomorrow I'll pay more money to escalate the public opinion even further, so your parents will suffer along with you. Remember this, you only have today. If you don't register your marriage with Marcus today, you'll be dead tomorrow." After she threatened me, she pointed at the men holding me and said, "You, beat her up and then throw her out." Seeing her approach, I seized the opportunity and bit down on her index finger. She shrieked in pain, "Ah, that hurts. Grace, you bitch, let go of me." I bit down harder, my teeth almost touching bone. Tears streamed down her face from the pain, yet she only saw my venomous, warning gaze. She panicked and had no choice but to compromise, telling her bodyguards to release me, then coaxing, "Grace, I was wrong. Let go of me. I won't cross you anymore. Please let me go. I beg you, stop biting." I picked up my phone. Using her as a shield to get out of the private, I finally let go and ran, ignoring Tiffany and Marcus's furious shouts behind me. It wasn't until I reached a corner and hid that I finally breathed a sigh of relief. If it weren't for this recording, to expose Tiffany and Marcus's schemes to the public, how could I have taken such a huge risk to meet her, almost losing my life? The next day, just as Tiffany was using more paid online trolls to continue spreading rumors about me, I released all the evidence in one go. There was the recording of them harming me that day, the video of them sleeping together, and screenshots of my bank transfer returning the engagement gift and Marcus's payment received, dated before the avalanche occurred. I also recorded a video, weeping as I spoke. "Everyone, think about it, Marcus was already with Tiffany. During the avalanche, they were together, and I was far away from them. There was no way I could save him. Tiffany was right beside him but didn't save him. To evade responsibility, she hired online trolls to attack me and used her influence to force the team members who climbed Mount into silence. She's the real culprit." Now, everyone knew I hadn't betrayed him. Marcus had cheated on me with Tiffany first, and my calling off the engagement with him was completely justified. The harder the netizens had slandered me then, the stronger the backlash was now. Marcus is absolutely disgusting. He clearly cheated on me, yet he tried to emotional blackmail his ex-girlfriend. For a scumbag like him, being disabled and a cripple is what he deserves. I think I've seen that cheating woman somewhere before. Let me think. Oh, that's Tiffany, from the Sue family. She was exposed by gossip reporters before for booking 8 male escorts for a night at a banquet. Oh my god, how disgusting. But then again, it's normal for a woman like her to be the other woman. I think Marcus looks decent, so Miss must have been acting on lustful motives. Not only did she act on lustful motives, but her heart is black. My relative works as an online troll, and she said that Miss paid a huge sum in their troll group to smear Grace. Her methods are truly despicable. Marcus isn't a good person either. I don't believe he knew nothing about it. I bet this whole thing was a setup orchestrated by the two of them. Watching the escalating public opinion online, I knew that either Tiffany or Marcus would eventually lose their composure. And what I wanted was for them to lose control and make a move, because merely ruining their reputations wasn't enough. To deal with enemies, you had to ensure they had no chance of ever recovering. Sure enough, not long after, they arranged for people to wait for me at my workplace, attempting to kidnap me. I glanced at my wrist and smiled faintly. It looked like nothing more than a plain, cheap bracelet, but it was actually a high-tech smart bracelet. Once activated, it could track my location in real time and record video. If it detected anything amiss with my location, it would automatically alert the authorities. After I let the kidnappers tie me up and throw me into a dilapidated house, Tiffany and Marcus appeared together. She looked at me, tied up and disheveled, and unceremoniously slapped me several times, her eyes wild and malicious. Grace, this is the second time. How dare you harm me again? Because of you, my dad has disowned me and is sending me abroad to fend for myself. You commoner, you're really asking for death. Marcus also said menacingly, Grace, why can't you just stay with me obediently, instead of constantly opposing Tiffany? Now, you've lost your chance. You'll be sold to a remote mountain village to be an old man's wife, trapped there for life. Are you happy now? They were truly venomous. I stared at him and said coldly, what you're doing is illegal. Human trafficking for revenge will land you in jail. Are you insane? I am insane. Marcus's eyes were bloodshot. If I can't be well, neither can you. Grace, you dared to despise me for being a cripple, so I'll help you pick out an old man who needs children. You'll go there and keep having babies, ha ha ha, until you die. He was crazy, truly crazy. Marcus, Tiffany, I advise you to untie me and let me go now, or you won't be able to handle the consequences. Tiffany watched me, sneering, without a word. Marcus, however, directly reached out and grabbed my throat. Grace, truthfully, more than selling you, I'd rather kill you. I actually remember everything. I became like this because you failed to save me. If you had saved me, I wouldn't have been harmed at all. Now you dare to despise me? Fine, you ruined me, so I'll make you experience what it's like sleeping with an old man. So that's it. No wonder he was so unhinged. Although the bracelet had already secretly alerted the police, it would take time for them to arrive. I needed to buy some time. I suddenly pretended to cry tears of joy. My tears fell onto Marcus's hand, and he quickly pulled it back as if he'd been burned. He frowned in confusion. You. I looked at him and said plaintively, Marcus, it's wonderful that you remember everything. How could I possibly despise you or not want to be with you? Don't you know, in my previous life, my greatest wish was to be with you. All this time, I've just been angry that you betrayed me, which is why I've been opposing you. Let me go, and we can be together properly, okay? He was stunned, not expecting me to say such a thing. Tiffany wasn't surprised by what she heard. Marcus had clearly told her everything. However, seeing me say this, she was displeased. Marcus, don't listen to her. She's just afraid we'll sell her to a remote mountain village, so she's deliberately trying to trick you. My eyes welled up with tears. Marcus, I'm really not lying. I love you, and I always have. You know how good I was to you before. Now that your leg is ruined, and I've gotten my revenge, I'm willing to be your legs for the rest of my life. Let me take care of you from now on. I nearly threw up from my own words, but seeing him still hesitate, I deliberately added, Marcus, your leg is ruined, but you can't blame me. If I'd saved you the way I did in my past life, you would have been fine. She has no real feelings for you, she's the one who's tricking you. Anyway, she's no longer the eldest daughter of the Sioux family. Once we're together, I'll definitely find a chance to give her a beating to get back at her for you. My performance was incredibly convincing. Marcus was about 80% convinced. He no longer paid attention to Tiffany's shouts, signaled for someone to release me, and then threw his phone to me. Now, post online that you love me and want to be with me, and I'll believe you. I posted it immediately in front of him. When he smiled, I knew I had succeeded. Glancing at Tiffany, who was seething with jealousy but dared not move, I surmised that today's kidnappers had been hired by Marcus. So I wrapped my arms around Marcus and said, Marcus, I'm about to lay my hands on Tiffany. Don't go soft and help her. He stared at her with a sinister gaze and said coldly, not you, they will do it. Tiffany was terrified and shrieked, stop it. Marcus, how dare you let them hit me? My dad won't let you get away with this if he finds out. Ah. Stop it, all of you. Marcus was completely unfazed. You've already been disowned by the Sioux family, so stop acting like the eldest daughter of the Sioux family. Tiffany, you bitch. Do you think I'd forget that you abandoned me and caused me to break my leg? I've never forgotten. I was originally planning to deal with Grace after I finished with her, but now that she's being sensible, you're the only one left for me to deal with. Once the traffickers arrive, I'll hand you over to them, you despicable woman. For the rest of your life, you can go to a remote mountain village and atone for what you did to me. After saying this, he instructed the kidnappers to keep a close watch on her. I watched everything with cold eyes, feeling as if even my breath was cold. Marcus truly was a selfish beast. Soon after, two plainly dressed individuals walked in. They looked like a couple, around 50 years old, and immediately kept glancing at Tiffany, who lay on the ground, beaten and unable to move. They quickly reached an agreement, and Marcus had the kidnappers push Tiffany towards the couple. Marcus said with a cold expression. Tiffany, you're finished. Enjoy yourself. I glanced at my high-tech smart bracelet and gave a sardonic, unapologetic smile. Marcus, you're out of time. The police had arrived. He was frowning in confusion when a team of police officers suddenly stormed in, immediately rushing towards the kidnappers and traffickers. Marcus was shocked. How are there police here? Grace, what did you do? I gave a scornful laugh, intentionally provoking him. You're truly stupid if you thought I still loved you and would willingly be with a cripple like you. Are your brains filled with nothing but filth? So foul and disgusting. Marcus, utterly enraged and humiliated by my words, raised the stick in his hand and swung it at me. Grace, you bitch, I'm going to kill you. With the police already present, there was no way he could succeed, but to ensure his punishment would be more severe, I intentionally failed to dodge and let myself be hit squarely. Seeing me fall, his eyes gleamed with bloodthirsty excitement. He raised the stick again to strike me brutally, but the police officers forcefully tackled him to the ground and put him in handcuffs. Looking at him, I deliberately smiled a silent, mocking smile. Humiliated, defeated, and mocked, he cursed at me wildly. Tiffany wasn't doing any better. The arrival of the police left her in such a daze that she simply fainted. I knew perfectly well that they were both finished. Tiffany was imprisoned for kidnapping, and the Sue family, due to her arrest, immediately released a statement on their official website disowning her. After she was imprisoned, I made a point of bringing her this news. Tiffany, you have no connection to the Sue family anymore. Aren't you happy? She pounded on the glass door, her face contorted with malice, and yelled at me, Grace, you bitch, this is all your fault. I slapped the glass door and said coldly, Tiffany, if you dare to curse at me again, I won't mind finding a way to get you back in here once you're out. You know me, I have plenty of tricks up my sleeve. She was scared into silence, but still said, unwilling to accept it, why did the police come? How did you do it? I raised my hand and wiggled my high-tech smart bracelet. Oh, I bought a high-tech smart bracelet. When I'm in danger, all I have to do is activate it, and it automatically calls the police and tracks my location. Oh, and it can also record in real time. You were too stupid, you didn't even check my belongings. Tiffany, you're just a big idiot, both dumb and evil. Provoked by me, she frantically pounded on the glass door and screamed, Grace, don't you know? Marcus's leg injury flared up after he was arrested, causing him to faint, and he was rushed to the city general hospital. He won't let you get away with this. Before I could even speak, the auxiliary police officer saw her frenzy and quickly stepped forward to stop and restrain her. I watched her head brutally pinned against the table, her face contorted in an ugly grimace, and I chuckled soft. Ly. Marcus? I wasn't afraid at all. He might escape temporarily, but he wouldn't get away with kidnapping and aggravated assault. After I was released, I suddenly received a call from the police. After introducing themselves, they dropped a bombshell. Ms. Grace, Marcus is on the City General Hospital rooftop, threatening to jump. He's very agitated and keeps calling out your name. It's a matter of life and death, so we need you to come here. I hadn't expected Marcus to escape to the rooftop during his treatment and threaten the police into seeing me. He definitely had ill intentions. Arriving at the rooftop, I saw Marcus clinging to the edge, half his body dangling outside. The slightest slip would send him plummeting. Because he was an online personality, the incident had caused a huge commotion. Some people were even live streaming it. Although he was guilty, his crime wasn't punishable by death, so the police had to save him. When he saw me, his face suddenly brightened. Grace, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have kidnapped you with Tiffany. I was wrong. I'm so glad you came. Will you come over and give me a hand? I don't want to die anymore. When I get out, I'll pursue you again. Such a clumsy excuse, I immediately saw through his trick. The City General Hospital rooftop was 19 stories high. He was clearly planning to drag me down with him to my death. He truly deserved to die. I pretended not to see through it, and although I stepped forward, I remained wary of him. As I got closer, he grabbed me, trying to pull me down with him. Grace, you ruined me. If I can't live, neither can you. Let's die together. With those words, he suddenly lunged downward. I had been prepared. With a sidestep, I slipped off my jacket. He grabbed onto my jacket and plummeted, filled with resentment and defiance. The police had already spread an air cushion below, so he shouldn't have died. But perhaps it was truly a case of reaping what one sows, and even fate couldn't bear to watch. A hose. Pidal room window suddenly opened, and he, still head first, collided with it on his way down. His head was completely shattered, blood splattered everywhere, and he died instantly. His parents' heartbroken sobs were of no use. They tried to shift the blame onto me, but the police held them back. Amidst the chorus of public condemnation, they hunched their backs and cried uncontrollably on the ground. In their old age, they had lost their only son, and their remaining years would be filled with sorrow. Marcus ending his life in such a tragic way was indeed well-deserved. From now on, I would be the master of my own life. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.